In the early 1990s, professional wrestling was at the height of its popularity, with the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, now WWE, captivating audiences around the globe. Wrestling's larger-than-life personalities, over-the-top action, and dramatic rivalries made it a prime candidate for video game adaptation. Enter WWF Super WrestleMania, a title released for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in 1992. Developed by Sculptured Software and published by LJN, the game aimed to bring the intensity and excitement of the squared circle into the homes of wrestling fans. Sculptured Software, the developers behind WWF Super WrestleMania, was no stranger to wrestling games. They had previously worked on WWF WrestleMania Challenge for the NES, and would later go on to create other wrestling titles. Their challenge with this game was to utilize the improved hardware of the Super Nintendo to deliver a more dynamic and engaging wrestling experience. The game was released for both the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, but the two versions had notable differences. While both games shared the same title, the Genesis version had more wrestlers and additional features, such as signature moves, which were oddly absent in the Super Nintendo release. This disparity left many Nintendo players feeling shortchanged. The early 90s was a golden era for WWF, featuring legends like Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, and the Ultimate Warrior. The roster was a reflection of this era, though it was smaller than what fans might have hoped for. Being a wrestling game, the game doesn't follow a traditional story. Instead, it captures the feel of a WWF broadcast, allowing players to create their own narratives. Whether it's a tag team striving for dominance or a single wrestler climbing the ranks, it gives fans the tools to live out their wrestling fantasies. Players can choose their favorite WWF stars and compete in various match types, such as singles, tag team, and Survivor Series bouts. The lack of a defined story mode may seem like a limitation, but the game's open-ended format encouraged players to use their imagination, mirroring the drama of WWF programming. The game offers a variety of match types: singles match, a one-on-one battle to determine who reigns supreme; tag team match, pair up with a partner to take on another duo in classic WWF tag team action; Survivor Series, a team elimination match featuring up to 4 wrestlers on each side, adding a strategic layer to the gameplay. Players control their chosen wrestler, aiming to deplete their opponent's stamina and secure a pinfall victory. The gameplay focuses on basic wrestling moves, such as punches, kicks, body slams, and suplexes. While enjoyable, the absence of signature moves for the Super Nintendo version was a glaring omission. The controls are simple, but can feel clunky at times, with grapple mechanics requiring precision timing. Players must also manage stamina, as running and taking damage depletes their energy. This added a subtle layer of strategy, encouraging players to balance offense and defense. For its time, the game boasted detailed character sprites and arenas that resembled their real-life counterparts. The wrestlers were instantly recognizable, with Hulk Hogan's iconic yellow trunks and Macho Man's colorful attire faithfully represented. The game also featured digitized crowd sounds, adding to the atmosphere of a WWF event. WWF Super WrestleMania shines in multiplayer, allowing players to go head-to-head with friends. The multiplayer mode captures the chaotic and competitive spirit of wrestling, making it a favorite for local play. The Super Nintendo version features only 10 wrestlers, including Hulk Hogan, Ted DiBiase, Randy Savage, and Jake the Snake Roberts. However, several fan favorites, such as the Ultimate Warrior, were missing. The Genesis version, in contrast, had an expanded roster and included signature moves, making it the preferred choice for some fans. One of the biggest criticisms of the Super Nintendo version was the lack of signature moves, a staple of wrestling games. Moves like Hogan's leg drop or Savage's elbow drop were absent, leaving gameplay feeling generic. This oversight was rectified in later WWF games. WWF Super WrestleMania is considered part of a trilogy of WWF games on the Super Nintendo, followed by WWF Royal Rumble, 1993, and WWF Raw, 1994. Both sequels improved upon the formula, introducing larger rosters and more refined gameplay. The WWF heavily promoted the game alongside its live events and TV programming, ensuring it became a must-have for wrestling fans. This cross-promotion contributed to the game's strong sales despite its gameplay limitations. Although this version is often overshadowed by its sequels, it remains an important piece of wrestling game history. It marked the WWF's transition to 16-bit consoles and set the stage for more ambitious wrestling titles in the years to come. WWF Super WrestleMania for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System was an ambitious attempt to bring the energy and spectacle of professional wrestling into the world of video games, while its lack of signature moves and limited roster held it back from true greatness. It still captured the essence of the WWF during one of its most iconic eras. For fans of retro gaming and professional wrestling, WWF Super WrestleMania remains a nostalgic trip back to the golden age of both wrestling and gaming. Whether you were body slamming your friends in multiplayer or dreaming of WrestleMania glory, this game gave wrestling fans an opportunity to live out their wildest in-ring fantasies. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into classic video games. And remember, in the words of the immortal Hulk Hogan, what you gonna do when Super WrestleMania runs wild on you?